Good morning, everyone. Travis here again with Lucky Tackle Box. And today, we're heading out on the California Delta, the Dirty D. Guys, this is a special place for me. I've spent a lot of time on the water growing up here, and it is full of fishable water. And today we're gonna be using a great shad imitation bait for these fall bass. These fall fish really hone in to gorging up on these fall baits, so we're gonna be using the Rage Swimmer by KastKing, which is a perfect profile imitation of what these bass are looking for. And we're gonna rig it up a couple different ways to be able to target the different water depths and presentations that these fish need to be shown so that they get enticed into making a big old meal out of this. So let's do some fishing. All right, so today's conditions, water temps are about 76 degrees. Now, a lot of you guys are like, what, 76 degrees? I'm just coming out of summer, early fall. My lakes are a lot hotter. Remember, this is tidal water. It's a river system, so you've got cooler water always coming down from the mountains. You've always got moving water, so that keeps the Delta from ever getting too warm during the summer, but also during the winter, it doesn't get all that cold either because you've just always got that moving current that doesn't allow that really the extreme temperatures, and that's why it's a great fishery year-round. Now, I haven't been out here in a long time, so we're gonna rig this up a few different ways so we can cover some different types of water columns, vegetation, until we figure out what these fish are doing. So right away, it's early, first thing in the morning, I got one rigged up on a little buzz bait there. And then I've got another one rigged up what they call kind of a rage rig. This is weedless, so I can throw it in the grass and the pockets and stuff and really work it slow. And then I've got the underspin, which is perfect for subsurface, really covering that water, mimic these schools of bait that are swimming around. And we're basically gonna cover waters. You guys can see behind me, look at this. We've got tules, we've got hyacinth. There is so much vegetation, so much fishy looking water. What is fishy looking water? That's stuff that just looks like a fish is gonna be there. That fish has to be there. And this delta is covered, and the entire thing is covered with fishy water. So we've gotta have a couple of different lures, a couple of different presentations that we can fish in these different areas until we zone in and figure out what these bass want today, and then we're gonna hammer down and give it to them as much as they can handle. Oh, now the turbo, this one's on fire. There we go. Dude, that was hot. This fish just came up and annihilated it. It even ripped the tail. It swallowed that so hard that when I set the hook, that tail was all the way down its gut, and I set it, it came up, the hook went into it, but it broke the tail off there. But guys, first thing in the morning, what we're doing, oh, there's even bait fluttering right here. Oh, tons of bait being scared. Look at that, look right here. There's fish feeding on the surface right over here. You guys seen all this bait jumping all over the place? This is perfect. This is what we're trying to mimic right now. That bait's jumping out of the water. So here's what's going on. That bait jumping out of the water and stuff, causing that commotion and everything, that's what this bait is supposed to do. This little blade is shooting up water, it's disturbing that water, blasting up, and then this little minnow, this little bait is swimming underneath there, and this fish have something to hone into and bite. And this, we're allowed to cover water real quickly and find these active fish. This could be a perfect way to start the morning. Now, one thing about the Delta is it's tidal waters. That means in any given time, the water level can fluctuate 3 to 6 feet. Now there's 4 different tides throughout the day. There's 2 low tides and 2 high tides. So every 6 hours, we'll have either a high tide or a low tide, and then 6 hours later, we'll have the opposite. And so there are guys that actually will chase the tides, meaning if they like a high tide or they like a low tide, they will keep moving. They'll travel miles and miles to stay on that low tide as it's falling away so that they can fish that particular tide. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna stay in one general area. Instead of following the tide, we're gonna change our presentation. So first thing in the morning, we're starting out with that topwater bait, but as conditions change, we're gonna switch over to the underspin and make sure that we can stay in the strike zone of where these fish are looking to feed. So instead of changing where we're going, we're gonna change our presentation. And you know, one thing that's always constant pretty much throughout the country is first thing in the morning, late summer all the way through the fall, buzz baits. These fish in the low light, they're cruising around, they're looking for those shad profiles. So we're gonna start first thing with that shad rigged up on the buzz bait and see if we can't get some active fish. Oh, nice. So early in the morning, these fish are a lot more active. They're not gonna hold as close to structure, and they're gonna go out and chase this bait a little bit more. So having a buzz bait that we can make a lot of commotion, these fish will really hear it, they'll come in searching for it, and then we can actually cover a lot of water too, so we can find where these active fish are, is the perfect ingredients. So what I'm doing is I'm just making casts and got my foot on the trolling motor, really moving along here. And I'm focusing on the shady side. That sun is still low, so there's big shadows on certain sides of these tules and things. And so what I'm doing is I'm just kind of focusing on that shade, bringing it through there every once in a while, giving that bait a little bit more action, just more commotion. I want those active fish to blow up on this thing. And trust me, these fish, they're honed in. They're looking up. Right now we saw those fish busting. That means those fish are really looking to trap fish on the surface. So this is the perfect bait to imitate that. Any little pockets and things. Sometimes I'll speed it up a little bit. When I'm coming out of a pocket like that, I'll slow it down, give it a little bit more action, and keep moving. Oh, okay. Man, these fish are hot when they hit this thing. Holy cow. I'm not reeling this slow, man, and they are choking that down. It's because we're still in that morning little pattern, and we still got a little bit of breeze. That's not to say this pattern won't hold up a little bit later, but you know, first thing in the morning, those fish are always gonna be a little looser, meaning they're not tight to that cover, they're moving around, searching out that meal. That's when they really do wanna feed. So if you give them a fast moving bait, they're not gonna think about it, they're just thinking, that's the dinner bell. All right, for gear, I'm spooled up with braided line. I really like that braided line. You can cast it far. The no stretch allows me to get good hook sets and allows me to have control of this bait a lot. I can really, any little twitches with that rod and stuff, I really can manipulate that bait and draw those strikes. So this is 50-pound Smackdown Seaguar braided line. And then I have that on the KastKing Assassin 6-3-1. You can also go up to a 7-3-1 as well. You know, faster spools can help you out, can be a little bit of an advantage when using these topwater baits, but not necessary. Then I have lastly a 7-foot medium heavy rod. Allows me enough backbone to get this bait out there, a little parabolic bend to fling this bait out there enough. But then when I get bit, I need that backbone also to really get a good hook set. You've got that single hook. So remember, you want to let that fish come up. He's going to hit it, and then he's going to turn, and that's when you're going to let that hook set go. All right? but not before that. You don't want to set it too early. So really, the California Delta stretches for like 1,000 miles of man-made waterways made for irrigation. There's tons, you know, Central California is the salad bowl of the world. So much farmland and everything. But what that also created was just this amazing fishing terrain. Tons of tule banks, riprap banks, and just so much vegetation to fish that there's just so many opportunities for fish to really grow and be healthy in this waterway. And it stretches from Sacramento River all the way up in the state capital in Sacramento, all the way to San Francisco. So just a maze, just a web of waterways that offers so much fishing. It's an absolute blast out here. I'm ready to keep fishing. Okay, so we have a falling tide right now. And so when we have a situation go from high tide to low tide, we got a lot of, oh, there we go. We just got a bass right there. Nice, this will be a perfect example. We caught it right off these little weeds right here. And as you see, we switched up baits, okay? We went to that underspin. And the reason being is, this is a flooded lake behind us. And as this water falls, it's all gonna come out of these little funnels, these little pinch points where all the bait's gonna be coming out of. There's gonna be all kinds of things coming through. And these bass, they'll position themselves in little areas so all this stuff's coming right to them and they get to feed up on that. So we've switched to a little bit of a, you know, a little bit more flashy, little subsurface bait so we can get it right in front of these fish. We want to put it right in the kitchen so it's an easy opportunity. I'm looking forward to running around right now and seeing if we can't get some more fish, because that's a good sign. We switched up, fished one of these little high percentage funnels and immediately hooked up with a fish. For the underspin, I use a 3/8 to 1/2 ounce underspin, and then I spool that up on, I want as heavy a line as I can get away with. Today I was using a 15-pound Seaguar Tatsu fluorocarbon line. A little, it's that clear line, 15-pound. It's pretty versatile. I can use it around a lot of thicker cover without being too worried about it. Still make long casts, and it's still not gonna be too visible to the fish. There we go. I want right off this little point here. Just cream this thing. Oh, I was gonna talk about the hook set real quick. Now, when you're fishing these little single blades like this, you know, this is similar to like a spinnerbait, right? We got the little blade spinning. When these fish hit this, give them a sec to load up. Nice little bass right there. What they'll do is they'll come up and hit this. They're gonna come towards you. As they hit it, eventually they're gonna turn. It happens real quick. It happens, you know, in a half second. They grab it and turn. And when you feel, a lot of times you'll feel that bite, but people set a little too early. Keep reeling, and then when they turn, you set, and that'll always get a good hook set in there. You're able to get that fish in the boat. Nice, fat, healthy little guy. That's a nice little gut. He's sitting right off this point, waiting for that shad to swim by. I bet you he's loaded with shad. Okay, my spinning setup, I've got a braided line here, so a 30-pound smackdown Seaguar braid. Then I've got, for the belly weight, I've got a 1/16 ounce belly weight. Got that nice thin line, so really this bait will have that action I need in the water out of it. Then I've got a 7'6" medium heavy spinning rod paired up with this KastKing reel, and I can really be accurate with this bait. I can finesse it over grass and things, let it fall down in little holes, and really, really use it a little bit differently than I have the other two baits rigged, that I gotta kind of be able to cast and wind. This one I can kind of finesse a little bit more, which is important to have when I see some good spots that I can slow down a little bit more in. There we go. That is a fun day of fishing. Guys, the Rage Swimmer, Striking Lures, part of their Rage Tail series. Check it out, a fun little bait to go out because it's so versatile. You can rig it up a bunch of different ways. Hopefully you learned a little something today. We did this video a little bit different, right? You guys, normally we do kind of these fast edits, quick stuff, but today we tried to change up things a little bit. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a comment below. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. If you're not subscribed, you're not gonna get the updates with our new style of videos. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Last thing, for links to any of the products, clothing, whatever that we use in this video, check the description box below. We now have links. I've said this in the past, and we did not have links. We have links. I'm making sure, so check it out. Guys, I'll catch you on the water.